It's time for the SP and Bushy Show. Here's your hosts, SP and Bushy.
I think it's time for our big chat of the week, unless there was something else you wanted to hit.
Nope, we've pretty much covered everything what I wanted. I'm ready for this one.
Let's do it. We're back in our time machine, folks. Although this one might even be an alternate reality machine, because we're going to talk about the top sports movie games that we wish we could be at. I mean, I'm excited for it. Obviously, our first episode, if you go back and watch it, we talked about the greatest sports movie collapses of all time. And on top of being sports buffs, I think we're both huge sports movie buffs. So, again, to get the chance to talk about these sports movies, I'm all in. Let's do it.
Yes, I'm ready as well. I want to be a part of it. I'm so excited.
Excellent. I'll let you kick it off then, because my list disappeared on me a few minutes ago. But what game do you want to talk about first?
First on my list, a little bit off the wall here. I'm gonna go the Texas Open Team Karate Championship in Sidekicks. Have you ever seen the movie Sidekicks? Starring Chuck Norris. What?
I don't recall it. I might have, but I may not have.
Okay, so basically, I'll explain the plot. It's basically the plot. It's basically the Karate Kid mixed in with Chuck Norris action dream scenes. That's all there is. What's great with this championship is that you got to see Chuck Norris actually fight in a karate tournament. He's going up against a really roided Joe Piscopo at that, and he kicks him and he flips. Probably 4 or 5 times, and he falls flat on his face. I mean, really, that's probably the only treat as well. And probably to see Jonathan Brandis do some nunchucks as well. And it top it off at the end, you see Jonathan Brandis' character basically, smash, I believe, like 10 or 11 bricks while flames were going on the bricks as well. So a very, very fascinating. I would have loved to have been a part of it.
My fiance actually, I guess one of her original crushes was Jonathan Brandis. So
I could see it with her. I could see it. I could see it with him. Like he was a good looking kid as well. And he was a great actor too. I loved everything that he was in.
Absolutely.
Of course, it's just a shame this movie is not on DVD. Where I want this movie on DVD. Like it's on VHS, it's on YouTube, but I want to physically own this DVD.
Also, if you're going to watch a Jonathan Brandis sports movie, Ladybugs, with him and Rodney Dangerfield, is a very fun watch. I watched that probably about 6-7 months ago, and it was hilarious.
I think we need to do a film tour. We need to show people all the cool areas where this film happened, because it is set in Colorado. So we will. So we should show to our good fans the film location tour of Ladybugs.
Exactly.
All right. What's on your list?
Let's see. I had one I thought of and I lost it, so I'm gonna go with one that I knew I was gonna say, and that's gonna be Rocky Balboa versus Apollo Creed 1. This is a fantastic fight. You get obviously the huge underdog in Rocky, who was supposed to get knocked out in like the first round, putting up this fight. They battle it out to the end. It ends up in I believe a split decision in favor of Apollo Creed, but it is a great fight, and it would have been great to be there in Philadelphia to watch that one.
Oh yeah, it was a great fight, and just to see an unknown underdog in Rocky Balboa take on the world heavyweight champ and have him go toe to toe and go 15 rounds, that would have been really an exciting fight. And seeing Rocky get knocked down, I believe in like the 13th or 14th round, and having him come up and then giving him the come on.
Exactly. That's such a great sports movie, such a great sports movie moment. And I mean, again, just that. I mean, obviously, if you go to the fight, you don't know all the behind the scenes battles and stuff that Rocky's been going through, but to see that battle would have been great.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I thought it would have been. I thought you would probably maybe have done a Rocky Creed 2, but I'm kind of glad you went Rocky Creed 1.
Rocky Creed 2 is coming up later on the list.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, let's just get it done since you just
Let's do it.
mentioned it. Let's get it done as well.
I mean, obviously the second one, I mean, again, epic fight between the two of them. Rocky, I believe, breaks Apollo Creed's ribs in it. I mean, these two guys just beat the crap out of each other again, and it ends up in a 15th round knockout in favor of Rocky, where he finally overcomes. The underdog gets the victory, and obviously it would be a huge, huge movie moment to be there and see him celebrating and get that win.
Yeah,
Eddie
yeah, and a
fight in the first three movies.
yeah, and Apollo really dominated the fight this time. Really, I mean,
Right.
he dominated the fight really until like probably about like the 12th or 15th round. Really, until Rocky decided, oh, I'm going to switch southpaw now, and I'm going to take it to him. Yeah, and a really cool finish that really you don't see a lot in regular boxing, where you see both combatants go down and then one trying to get up as well. So that would have been a great scene to see, and you would have saw the rematch of the previous fight, and then yeah, everybody get all excited to see Rocky win because he won it in Philly too.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that was an incredible fight. It would have been great to see that one. Give me any of those fights, even the one where Clubber Lang knocks him out. Because, I mean, Clubber Lang trained his ass off for that fight, to see him fight and pull off the victory. Even that one would have been good. Any of these fights are good fights to be at.
Right. Since we're on the Rocky tangent, another Rocky fight was going to be on my list. Rocky Drago in Rocky 4. Give me that fight as well. You know, being a part of Russia and seeing a crowd turn on their national hero. That would have been fascinating to watch and see Rocky defeat this I guess this blonde, this ultimate like machine in Drago.
Absolutely. I mean, that one would have been a crazy one to be at. The crowd turning never made sense to me, but because I mean, I'm not going to go to a Broncos Raiders game and then all of a sudden start cheering for Derek Carr because he's putting up a hell of a fight. So again, I would be shocked to see that in real life, but I mean, again, it's a great fight, and it would have been really cool to be at that one too.
Right, and then you got to see like all the like the 15 round action as well, like or before the 15th round where he's choking the minister of boxing as well, and have him just shouting in Russian, you know, as well. See Drago, so that would have been an interesting fight to be at, and then have the crowd go nuts after the Rocky speech as well. You know, where if you can change, I can change. Everyone can change.
Exactly.
I think America needs to go back and watch that speech.
Absolutely. I mean, that speech is one of the great speeches in movie history. And I mean, for him to obviously, I think that speech is just as relevant now. And it's, a speech designed to bring people together. And it's a message we need more of for sure.
Right, and it really was the slight, and it's really a speech that kind of helped start the end of the Cold War.
Exactly. Rocky ended the Cold War with that victory. So it's one of the most historic boxing wins of all time.
Exactly, and and he did it with no money too. You know, he didn't fight for the title, and he did it with no money. Very very strange to look back on with Rocky.
It would have been crazy to be a part of that crowd for sure.
Yes.
So up next, I mean, obviously this one was a real life one. So, but I want to go back and I want to be there for Cool Runnings, the Jamaican bobsled team in the bobsledding event. Obviously they crash and they end up carrying the bobsled the whole rest of the way. But to just to be at Olympics would be awesome. But B, to be able to go back and be a part of that would have been, and see that movie moment and to see the Jamaican bobsled team compete would have been great.
Right. Yeah. See the Jamaican bobsled team, and they actually were competing for a gold medal in the movie rather than in real life. Where in real life they really were just, they were just happy to be there. Type of bobsled. But yeah, it would have been great, and yeah, to see the slow clap at the end. You would have participated in that.
Yeah. Who doesn't want to be a part of a good slow clap?
Yeah, yeah, and watch them cross the finish line with their bobsleds, Yeah, it would have been great. And people would have gone nuts, and you and I probably would have gotten a Jamaican bobsled team T-shirt.
Yeah, oh for sure. I mean, I didn't want to include the Miracle on Ice game from Miracle because obviously, like we've already touched on that one in our real hockey ones. So I didn't want to go back and go to that game. But this one, I never got to mention it. I put it in there with the movie conversation. Let's talk about Cool Runnings game.
I agree. Well, and I think there's a lot more difference from the fictional universe to the real universe as well. So that's why I'll kind of let this slide compared to like Miracle. It
Right.
was like really, it felt like a shot for shot, kind of
Yeah.
a remake of the game as well. So I
It
probably
was.
would have disqualified you for that.
Yeah, that one I would have disqualified. This one wasn't.
Yeah, I agree with you, and it would have been fun just to be a part of it, and agree be part of the Olympics. And again, it's in Calgary, so we don't have to travel that far. So
Yeah, that would have been a cool one to be at. What do you got next?
what next? I have Game 7, Racing versus Rockford in a league of their own.
Ooh, it's a good game.
Yes, very good game. Back and forth affair. A pitching duel. We talked about it in our movie Choke Jobs as well. So that would have been a good one. And yeah, just to see a nice thing at the end. You saw a collision at the plate and seeing Kit win the game and have and then you have heroics from Dottie Henson before the in the previous inning of her, getting that game that I guess that running hit as well. So it would have been fun to be a part of that.
That one certainly would have. I didn't make my list just because, like I said, I didn't get the time to finish my list and put it together as much as I would like. But I mean, that's a great game. It would have been an awesome one to be a part of. It's a game like it almost you don't get to see games like that nowadays, where it's like girls playing full-fledged baseball. So to see, I mean, obviously you get tons of women's softball games, and those are obviously all great to see. But I mean, to see an actual like women's baseball game back in that era would have been like, awesomely exciting too.
Yeah, and a great finish and a great end to a championship series.
Yeah, that would have been incredible.
What's next on your list?
Let's see. Next on my list, I'm gonna go with the 1989 American League Championship game between the Cleveland Indians and the New York Yankees at the end of Major League.
Nice. Yes, that was on my list as well. So we could talk about that.
Yeah, let's chat about it.
Yeah. Just a great game. Again, a back and forth affair. Every time would seem like the Yankees got the runs. Cleveland came back. Pedro Serrano with a huge 3-run home run to tie the game, and then yeah, you have Jake Taylor, running out of bunt, with bad knees and all. And then, Willie Mays Hayes, rounding third and scoring for the Indians.
Yeah, that would have been obviously such an exciting game to be at. I mean, you have it all. You're there kind of celebrating with the crowd in Cleveland too. And I mean, nowadays it might be your last chance to actually see an Indians game in person because they won't be the Indians anymore. They will be the Cleveland baseball team or whatever they end up being. But I mean, it would have been cool to be a part of it. That crowd looked awesome. And then, I mean, you had like a really good cast of characters in this one with like, obviously Ricky Wild Thing Vaughn to see him pitch and be a part of like Willie Mays Hayes, Serrano, like you mentioned, Jake Taylor. It's a good lineup of characters too you get to see playing out there.
Right, too. And he had a good pitcher against a batter matchup as well with Clue Haywood against Wild Thing Vaughn at that end as well. So I mean, Haywood had his number, and Vaughn, just basically just threw heat and got by him.
Yep, and the Duke coming in for the Yankees against that Cleveland lineup too.
Exactly. Yeah, it was just overall a great game, and would have been fun to be a part of. Yeah, and again, it was a playing game as well. It wasn't even a playoff game, I believe.
I thought it was I don't know why I thought it was a playoff game.
I think you're right. It probably is that. So I'll give you the word with that. And yeah, it was a fun series, fun game to be a part of. And you got to see a Cleveland Indians team with a bunch of nobodies rise in the ranks and taking on this team.
Yeah, that would have been a great one to be a part of. I would have had to have been one of those people that like actually has like the radio into your ear as you're at the game, just so I could hear the Harry Doyle broadcast.
Yes, it would have been one of those type of games as well. Yeah, where you got to listen to listen to the great Bob Uecker.
Absolutely. What do you got next?
Next on my list, I got guards versus convicts in the 1974 version of The Longest Yard. It was a great game. It was a really fun and competitive game until the third quarter when Paul Crewe decided, I'm going to forfeit the game as well. Of course, we wouldn't have known that being up in the stands. But then, you would have saw a great comeback, too, with him leading the team back. And you got to see a drop kick as it happened. I'm not sure. Maybe you saw a guy die on the field as well. You got to see a lot of cheap shots as well by the guards, and you would have maybe have turned on the guards as well, and you would have probably hoped that the convicts won.
Yeah, absolutely. That would definitely have been a crazy game to be at. I mean, obviously, like convicts versus guards and the kind of attention that game got. So, yeah, to be a part of that crowd would have been crazy.
What next do you have?
Let's see. Up next, I got to go Washington versus Dallas in the replacements. Got to go a little bit of football. I mean, obviously, this is a great game with Shane Falco pulling out the heroics at the end. And Nigel Legruff kind of backing out of the kick in the last minute, so they have to go for the touchdown, and they get the victory. I mean, there's just a lot of really good moments in this game. They're down. They make the big comeback. There's Washington. And, I mean, really, like you have a really good second half from that Washington team, too, once Falco comes back.
Right, yeah, and you would have saw maybe a turn on some players as well. You would have probably turned on Eddie Martell, who really stunk during that game. And let's put in a guy who hadn't played football in a month, and let's put him in against the best team. A really bad move by the owners and the coaches for that decision.
Well, the coaches kind of had that decision taken out of their hands, though.
Yeah, kind of bad decision on the owner's part. But and have Falco really come back and really tear apart that Dallas defense.
Yeah, great game, great movie moment, and the replacements always obviously a fun rewatch with Falco, and obviously he hits what's the deaf kid's name in that movie? That makes
Brian Murphy.
Brian Murphy, yeah. I mean, obviously, that was, a great movement and, a great victory for that Washington team as they get that huge W.
Yeah, and just overall a great game. And it would have been on Thanksgiving night. I think a lot of people don't realize that, but it would have been fun.
It sure would have. What do you got next?
Next, I got I'm going Teen Wolf. When the game in which he transforms into a werewolf. I would have loved to have been part of that. I would have been terrified yet excited to see this werewolf, Michael J. Fox, turn into a werewolf, and then somehow he looks like a cross between Dr. J, Dominic Wilkins, and Michael Jordan. I mean, seriously, like the guy turns into the greatest basketball player ever. And seeing that team. The Beavers go on to victory as well and really dominated that team. But it would have been like scary and terrifying. Like, this guy's a werewolf. What is going on?
And how is it legal for him to be playing? That's a good one. I mean, that was an awesome one. I got to go with my next one, and that is the Las Vegas Dodgeball Open from the movie Dodgeball. I mean, obviously, it's a fantastic any game in this tournament. I don't know if you can get like a whole tournament pass since it is dodgeball, and it doesn't look like it's the hugest crowd in the world. So I don't know if it's like the biggest ticket out there, but to be a part of this crowd looks like it would have been exciting. You get all these teams with all these weird different personalities to be watching play dodgeball. And I mean, once again, you kind of have that underdog story there at the end with Average Joe's winning it.
Yeah, and you had a little drama at the end. Peter LaFleur coming in right at the end, and Chuck Norris saves the day again. The second time this list that Chuck Norris saves the day.
The double fault ending that leads us to sudden death.
Yeah, we had a sudden death, and then seeing Peter LaFleur beat Global Gym, and basically a super team. Really beating that team.
Yeah, to seeing them beat Blade and Laser and Blazer
and Fran. I'm not even going to pronounce your last name.
Yeah. White Goodman and Michelle. Yeah.
Michelle. Oh, yeah, that's overall a great series, and
Give
yeah,
me
it would
the
have been
whole
fun to be part of that event.
Yeah. Give me the whole tournament pass. I want the whole tournament pass. I want to see the Mullets take on the Lumberjacks or whatever the hell happened. And
Yeah, I want to see Skills That Kills against the firefighter team or the
exactly.
Mississippi State dodgeball team.
Yeah, give me the whole tournament. I want the whole tournament. I'll even take the game where Average Joe's has to play in the S&M gear. I will take the whole tournament. It was hilarious.
Do you want the qualifying game as well when they play the Girl Scouts?
No, that wasn't much of a contest. I don't want that one.
Yeah, it really wasn't much of a contest, but thankfully Average Joe's came in thanks to some PET work on by the Girl Scouts.
A low-grade beaver tranquilizer.
It's a great movie, and yeah, that was a great event, and I agree with you. Give me the whole pass. I want to see that, and then yeah, for the championship game as well. Average Joe's playing for their fallen coach.
Yeah, Patches O'Houlihan.
Yes, yeah. So added parts as well.
Emotional weight. Yeah, added emotional weight. Absolutely.
I know.
What do you got next?
Next, I'm going with West Cannon against Gilroy in Varsity Blues. Gilroy was a team that really was killing teams. They for some reason they dropped from 4A to 3A, and they have West Cannon led by the great Bud Kilmer. He has a backup quarterback going on, and the team was down as well, I believe 21-7, and they make a nice comeback without their coach in the second half as well. So, and they won on a hook and ladder play with our good old boy Billy Bob.
That's a great one. And I mean, I was watching that movie a couple weeks ago, and I even forgot to put it on this list. But I mean, obviously, that's a great one. I love that movie moment. And I mean, you see Jonathan Moxon complete the pass to Charlie Tweeter, who flips it to Billy Bob. You see those kids kind of get their moment of, rebelling against this abusive coach, and then being able to get that victory and still make their West Texas parents so proud was a great movie moment. And it would have been fun to be a part of those West Texas football crowds.
Yeah, we would have been kind of confused. It's like, where's Bud Kilmer? Where's Bud Kilmer? Why isn't Bud Kilmer in this game?
I came here to watch a Bud Kilmer game.
Came here to watch a Bud Kilmer game, not this 5-wide stuff.
Not this hook and ladder nonsense. Stick to the basics. Stick to the basics. Stick to the basics.
Yeah, it was just overall just a really good game, and yeah, it's just and it was a battle for the division district championship as well. So a lot of stake going into that game.
Absolutely. I mean, that would have been a fun game to be at for sure.
What's next on your list?
Next on my list, I'm gonna go with the Angels in the outfield game. The Angels against the White Sox at the end of this game, just to be part of that crowd doing the whole Angel thing. And I mean, it's a great game in of its own right. It comes down to the final pitch. Mel Clark is dealing this whole game, and White Sox end up loading the bases, but Clark gets the big punch out in the end to get the victory. Or no, that's a big punch out. The big ground out to the pitcher to win the game.
Right. Yeah. Really, one of the more least satisfying endings. I mean, really, it's just that line drive that he somehow catches it and bobbles it, but ends up catching it as well. But yeah, it would have been fun to be part of the Angel waving crowd as well. And yeah, just overall a really good game. Going back, thinking about this game, thinking about it with like 2020 term or 2021 terms, how many innings does Mel Clark pitch in that game? He probably pitches five, six innings. That's it.
No, you got to have him go the whole 9 because you can't bring in Whit Bass. You have no faith in him coming out of the pen.
I know, and he was up to like 140 pitches. Like, I'm surprised his arm didn't fall off during the game as well.
That's why it would have been a great game to be at, because we're not going to ever see a starting pitcher performance again like that, probably in a postseason game.
I agree. Yeah, you just see a little kid come out, doing the Angel wave, and then somehow everybody's doing it as well. Like, who is this kid, and why is he doing the Angel?
I mean, like I said, it was just a great movie moment. It looks like it was with a great crowd to be a part of too. So
Yeah, see, I agree. It would have been a great, and it's also a great movie. I watched it during the pandemic. They had it on like one Friday night, and I ended up watching it because I hadn't seen it in like 20 years, and I'm like, this is a good movie. Like, and again, it's not on Disney Plus. I don't know why. Like, it's weird.
it needs to be, and I mean, hopefully, maybe next MLB season they'll put it up there. Give me this game. I want this game on Disney, or give me this movie on Disney Plus. I need it.
Do you prefer the Angel Wave or the monkey or the Rally Monkey for the Angels?
Oh, Angel Wave for sure.
Angel Wave for sure. Okay, I agree. It's better than the Rally Monkey.
Right. Awesome, man. What do you got next?
Next, we're going to go all the way up to Alaska here, and we're going to have the mystery hockey team against the New York Rangers in Mystery, Alaska.
Ooh.
Yeah, we probably would have been freezing our butts off because again, we're up way up north. But yeah, it would have been fun to see a NHL team going up against a really small town that really is devoted to hockey. And yeah, it would have been fun. And seeing Mystery get up early, and then the Rangers having a solid second period, and then having Mystery come all the way back as well, or close to coming back and then losing.
Yeah, it would have been. I mean, it was a very exciting game to have been a part of. I haven't seen that movie in a long, long time, but I mean, obviously, it's a very good movie. And I mean, once again, you do have this good battle between a town that just worships hockey and this pro team that obviously is obviously a pro team. And it was a fun one. Russell Crowe in that one, a good performance, right? I mean, that's a good movie.
Yeah, it was overall a very good movie. It would have been overall a very good hockey game as well. And yeah, just not a lot to say. It was a very good game. They had just a very back and forth affair. And they really they came back, and it was just really unfortunate that they couldn't have tied it.
Nice, man. How many more do you have on your list?
10 more.
10 more? Oh yeah, you gotta go, man, because I got
okay.
4 left.
Okay, next for me, I guess since we're doing the entire thing, I was gonna put it down to just one day, but I want a whole pass to now since with the dodgeball thing, and that's the whole kumite in Bloodsport. Give me the whole kumite. I would love to have been part of this underground fighting game or fighting spirit, and just and you have Frank Dukes, the first ever Westerner to win this event. That would have been fun going up against Chon Lee, obviously a guy who is very undefeated and really just a vicious fighter who really just destroys his fighters.
Yeah, that would have been obviously an incredible event to be a part of, just to see the the craziness and the blood and the violence of it all. That's a crazy one.
Yeah, and you would have got to see the knockout record literally broken in consecutive matches. That would have been very interesting to see. And you would have saw a guy's basically leg basically in half, and you would have saw Jean-Claude Van Damme nut punch a guy while doing the splits. So it would have been fascinating to be a part of, and we probably would have gambled it a lot on it.
It would have been a fascinating and effed up event to be a part of, for sure.
Yes, it definitely would have been fascinating and messed up. We would have been like, "Wow, this is really cool," but wow, I don't want to be part of this again.
Let me ask you this, and let me ask you if this movie counts, because I just thought of it. Would Beer Fest count? Would being a part of Beer Fest count?
I don't know. Do you count that as like sports? I don't think they really have like some sporting stuff.
I mean, that's kind of a battle, and it's a battle of endurance of the liver. So I don't know. I'd like to be at that, though.
It would have been fun. Yeah, it's a nice honorable mention. I would have loved to be part of the Beer Fest crowd as well. But yeah, I'd take Kumite over Beer Fest any day.
Oh, I'm not saying that. Yeah, I'm not putting the two necessarily against each other, but I'm just wondering if Beer Fest would count.
I wouldn't have counted. There really isn't a lot of like, I guess what our term sports is.
See, I disagree. I think it could have counted, but that's either way. I mean, it would have been a fun one to be a part of either way. But what do you got next?
Next, I got the kind of this underrated one, the first race in Fast and Furious, the first drag race. So we would have saw, Dominic Toretto, Vin Diesel. You have this young comer with and Paul Walker as well. And then you have Ludacris. No, not Ludacris. Ja
Yeah.
Rule in
I don't
there.
think
And then
Ludacris goes up to the second one, does he?
no, yeah, Ludacris. It doesn't come until the second. But yeah, you have Ja Rule in there as well. He's in a race, and then you have some random Asian kid going as well. So it would have been a great race to be a part of. And yeah,
See, I don't count that as a sport. I don't count auto racing as a sport because everyone auto
oh,
races out. You're out there on the street driving around.
oh, okay.
But either
All
way,
right. All right, I'll give you that. But overall, a great race. We can move on.
and the car's doing 90% of the work. You're not doing anything else. It's like saying the jockey who's riding Seabiscuit's doing the milk with the work. The horse is doing the work.
That is true.
What do you got next?
Next, I'm going in the world of soccer now. I got the Nazis versus the POWs in Victory. You have POW people led by Michael Caine with Pele, and then you have Sylvester Stallone in at goal as well. And yeah, the Nazi get up early in this match, and then during the POWs make a nice second half comeback as well, and basically tie the game. And then Stallone makes this unbelievable save to preserve the tie as well. That's really the only thing I probably would dock it a little bit. Like, it was a tie. It wasn't a victory for the POWs, but just overall, just been a part of it. And then maybe helping the POWs escape from this match as well.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen that movie, so I mean, I'd have to just take your word on it.
Just watch the final scene. I believe it's on YouTube. Just watch the final scene. It would have been fun too. And yeah, you would see Pele do a bicycle kick as well. So just overall a great battle, and it would have been fun to be a part of.
Yeah, I think if I'm going back in time to Nazi times, though, I think I'm going back in time Inglorious Bastard style and just going back and just killing a bunch of Nazis.
So you're killing the Max von Sydow's in the game, or you're killing Max von Sydow rather than kind of praising him because he's the only one that kind of lets it go by, and he kind of does the slow clap as well.
Yeah, I think obviously I would, if I'm going back in time to Nazi times, I'm going back in time to do a lot more good than just watching a soccer game. But
all right, that's fair enough. Fair enough on my end.
What do you got next? Because I'm still drawing blanks on sports movies.
Next, I got Miami versus Dallas in any given Sunday. You have the playoff game. You have Dallas coached by Johnny Unitas of all people, and then you obviously have Al Pacino coaching for the Miami side, and then you have Dennis Quaid's character, Cap Rooney, leading had a good first drive, and then really he got hit, and the injuries really started to take his toll as well, and then he decided to give it up and give it to Willie Beeman as well, and then you have a great I believe a fourth down stop by Lawrence Taylor as well, our boy LT making a defensive stop in the game. He almost died on the process in this movie, but yeah, it would have been great to be a part of. And then yeah, and you see I believe Terrell Owens makes I believe the game-winning catch in this in the game, or he makes a catch somehow. He does help with this comeback.
Yeah. I haven't seen Any Given Sunday in a while, but yeah, I remember obviously the last game and it being really good. So
yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think Willie
was it Jamie Foxx? Jamie Foxx is in this.
Yeah, Willie Beeman coming in. Yeah, Jamie Foxx. I think he's the one that scores the last touchdown. As well. But T.O. definitely helped a part of it because I think he caught a couple of touchdown passes in that game. It's probably his best playoff performance minus Super Bowl 34 or 35. No, 39. Yeah, Super Bowl 39. Yeah.
I thought of one more that I would like to throw in there, and that would be the Rookie of the Year game against the Mets. That one was a good one, too. So I still have 4 left, I guess. So this will be one of the 4. And that'll be the Rookie of the Year game against the Mets. You see the Mets' best hitter, Haywood, strike out on or Hato strike out on a floater pitch.
Yeah, it was part of your choke job as well. So it would have been great to see, and just to see all the craziness that happened. I would have loved to maybe have the earpiece in to hear John Candy's reaction to this game as well. So it would have been fun to be a part of. And yeah, just seeing this really bad team, kind of come together. You have a great pitching performance actually with Chet Steadman as well.
Chet Steadman pitching his butt off in that game as well. Obviously, it's a very good game. And then, you get to be part of the Wrigley Field crowd as they celebrate a win. Tough to beat that.
Yes, and just overall, just a really good game. And they kind of came back, and and it felt like an actual like baseball game. It wasn't like, really a back and forth game.
Yeah, it was. It's a crazy, crazy game, and it's obviously a great win with Rowan Gardner, the little kid, getting the big strikeout at the end. It's one of those ones that would have been cool to say you were there.
Absolutely. Next on my list, I'm going to the world of blue chips, the Western University Dolphins against the Indiana Hoosiers. It would have been great to see Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway work their magic going up against Bobby Hurley and Calbert Chaney. They were on the Indiana side for some reason. I guess there was this transfer portal, but it would have been fun to see that game as well and see two great coaches with Pete Bell, played by Nick Nolte, and Bobby Knight go at it. Basically, they were identical coaches because Nolte actually shadowed Bob Knight in real life. So it would have been fun to see those two coaches go at it. And you got to see a game-winning dunk by Shaquille O'Neal, putting it away and defeating the number one team in the nation in Indiana.
Yeah, that would have been obviously a really exciting game to have been a part of. It's a very, real life based movie. And I think that's a really cool one as well.
Right. And again, it was a back and forth game. Western got up early. Then Indiana kind of held on to the lead until right at the end as well. So, and really Shaquille O'Neal was amazing in that game. A ton of alley oops, a ton of dunks. Just overall, just great to be a part of.
Nice. I thought of another one actually, and I'm going to throw this one in there. And it's
all right. What is
the movie the movie Celtic Pride? Have you seen that one?
I have seen it.
And it's a great last game between the Jazz and the Celtics. And the Jazz win it in the final seconds on the play by Damon Wayans' character. And I had forgotten about it, and I just thought of it a second ago. You have this great battle between the Jazz and the Celtics, and their top player returns from being kidnapped in like the second half of the game.
Right, and and the kidnappers were there as well. They were celebrating on the court for some reason. I'm surprised they weren't arrested. And and the game was to take place in the Boston Garden. So I think it was the final game in the Boston Garden. So as far as with that film, so it would have been fun to be a part of. Yeah, and you got to see the Utah Jazz win a championship. So that would have been an alternate time.
It would have been just an interesting game to be a part of, and it's a close game to be a part of, so it would be awesome.
Exactly, yeah, and it would have, just overall a great game, and yeah, David Wade's a very good point guard in that movie.
He certainly is. It's a pretty funny movie too if you go back and watch it. It's a funny game. It's a funny movie. It's a good game at the end of it, and it's definitely an adventure.
I saw it. I haven't seen it in a while, so I may have to go back and kind of watch it.
Yeah, it's been a while for me too, but it's just one of those ones where I'm like, I just thought of it just now, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a pretty good game at the end of that. So,
all right, so sticking with and actually the coach of that Jazz team was actually Christopher McDonald. So I'm gonna stay with that trend. And next on my list, Happy against Shooter in the Tour Championship. In Happy Gilmore. You have Happy, getting run over by the car in the last day of competition. And then, he kind of has a little bit of spell the front nine, and then really kind of comes on. And in the back nine and really taking over, and then just ending with like incredible shot after incredible shot. Because not only do you get the awesome putt from Happy, you also got an amazing putt too by Shooter McGavin as well to kind of keep that lead for him.
And I mean, he has a great approach shot off of Frankenstein's fat foot, if you recall.
Yeah, just overall, just a great. That was a great par save. I think people just really forget because of the Happy Gilmore amazing birdie, a miniature golf birdie style putt. That was an amazing par saving putt that Shooter McGavin does.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's a great battle between those two. I mean, it comes down to the playoff hole between the two of them, and I mean, would have been fun to be at a tour championship anyway. And I mean, to see that event and be a part of it. And obviously we are going back in our time machine. So would we know not to climb the tower to try and get a better view of it?
No, we would have let that tower thing happen. We're like, okay, let's keep this as is, because we know what's going to happen. Actually, would have been an added factor too if he would have kind of chased down Shooter McGavin and beat the crap out of him.
I'm worried, like, I would have tried to climb to the top of the tower if I didn't know what was going to happen initially in the end.
Yeah, exactly. You had several people with that as well. But, yeah, probably given the gold jacket to Happy Gilmore, that would have been a great thing to be a part of.
Yeah, it would have been awesome to see that.
All right, what's next?
How many do you got left?
4 more.
All right, because I only got 3, so hit me with one of them.
All right, next, going to the world of fictional sports as well. Milwaukee versus Dallas in the Denslow Cup in basketball. Obviously, we talked about this in our movie Choke Job, so there really isn't a lot of repeating. But yeah, just Dallas had this amazing lead, and they kind of choked this game away. And got to give it credit to Milwaukee, to really come back and win this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's an awesome game to have been a part of. The only part of it that would have been like kind of like weird or to be wouldn't have made sense to me to necessarily be a part of was when they take a break and kind of like do the part to honor the Hawaiians on the Malakalaka board or whatever. Like that part of the game, I don't know necessarily made sense to me, but I mean, obviously it's a good uniting moment for the Milwaukee Bears, but I mean, I don't know if that's common in basketball games to have a break to honor indigenous people or something like that. But overall, it would have been an interesting game to be a part of for sure.
Yeah, it probably would have been a boring game at first. The first seven and a half innings because Dallas really dominated the game and Milwaukee didn't do anything. They couldn't hit a broadside of a bar, and so really, what made this game really special is the last 2.5 innings of them basically catching on fire and scoring all these runs.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was an exciting game to be a part of, and it would be cool to be at an alternate sport where you don't know what it would be cool to just be at a new sport.
Right, yeah, and you would have saw an amazing end of the game too, where you would have had a conversion in which Trey Parker just throws the ball back behind his head and going in. It would have been great to be a part of that, and seeing Milwaukee get the monkey off their backs, because they had won the championship until they won since then. So it would have been nice to see their first championship.
It sure would have, and seeing Coop Cooper, the guy who invented the game, make that bucket would have been all the more sweet.
Exactly.
Awesome. Up next for me, I'm going to go to the 1994 Goodwill Games with the D2 Mighty Ducks, U.S. versus Iceland. I mean, we talked about it. This is an everything kind of game. You get the roping penalty. You get a lot of physicality in this game. And you kind of just see everything in this game. You see the insane ending where the goalie gets disguised as a player, or the player disguises himself as a goalie, then skates down the ice and takes a shot to get the game-tying goal in the last second. I mean, it's just an exciting game, and you get a shootout.
This was on my list as well. So you would have had a comeback too in a team changing uniforms. Like that doesn't happen at all. You would ditching the red, white, and blue for those awesome Ducks uniforms, which they should have brought back in those reverse retro jerseys. And yeah, it would have been great to be a part of that game. And yeah, just see the shootout as well. Just seeing, Julie the Cat Gaffney stopping Gunnar Stahl.
Yeah, and just to see that huge rallying moment, a good moment of like national pride with the Junior Goodwill Games, as well as the United States gets the victory. On top of it, it's a great comeback for the United States in that one as well. And I mean, it's just like I said, it's a really good game. You get you get a whole bunch of different great things of hockey thrown into this game.
Exactly. Yes. And well, that would have been great to be part of the Anaheim Palm. I actually have been in the arena in which it took place, and it's a really good arena. I enjoyed it immensely when I was there, and yeah, just overall, it would have been just a great game to be a part of. It would have been a little bit disconcerting. Yeah, not to mention too, you're missing the Ken Wu play as well, where he basically does a figure skating move to score the USA's first goal.
And I mean, his fight afterwards. I mean, obviously, you see hockey fights kind of have tuned down a little bit lately. So to see a good hockey fight with Kenny Wu, all the more special.
I know, yeah. You would have saw a clothesline too by the Bash Brothers, and you would have saw a lot of things let go in this game as well.
Yeah, you would have. I mean, like I said, the roping penalty that would have been.
Yeah, it would have saw a very talented Iceland team. Like Iceland really was the best team in the tournament. They choked it away.
They choked it away, and I mean, obviously the shenanigans and stuff.
Yes.
Turned it away from a real hockey game into like more of a street fight hockey game. So all the more, like I said, it would have been exciting to see.
Yes, it would have been great. Two great coaches going at it as well. You would have saw Wolf the Dennis Stanton make his return to the world of hockey as well, and you have Gordon Bombay, try to lead his team again.
Yeah, obviously a very exciting event to be a part of.
Absolutely.
All right,
so
was on your list. So do you want me to go again here?
I got two more.
Yeah, I got two more as well.
Okay, so next on my list, I'm going to the Indiana State high school basketball championship between Hickory and South Bend and Hoosiers. It would have been fun to be a part of, this kind of old school game as well. You obviously have a small town in Hickory going up against a big bad team in South Bend. Really, South Bend was really the more dominant team than Hickory, but Hickory, had the shooting touch too with Jimmy Chitwood as well, and you would have saw a nice end of the game as well, seeing Jimmy Chitwood make the final shot.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic game. It's a fantastic movie, and I mean, it would be really cool to have seen this happen and just see such an amazing game take place in that old school kind of environment too, like you said.
Right, yeah, it is a very old school arena too, with Butler University as well, and yeah, well, you would have probably saw a little bit of a choke job as well. Really, like South Bend didn't know how to handle a full court press for some reason. It very was kind of they really couldn't handle a full court press. It was very, very, very sloppy on South Bend's end.
Well, it was like the game in semi-pro where San Antonio doesn't know how to handle the alley-oop if we're talking about fictional games to be a part of. That one would have been. Let's throw that one on an honorable mention. The game in semi-pro where they invent the alley-oop and just have this crazy
exactly.
weapon.
The Flint, Michigan Mega Bowl. Yeah. We would have been excited for the Flint, Michigan Mega Bowl. It's a battle for fourth place, people. It would have been fun. Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, I never thought about that. Yeah, that's a great game to be a part of. And yeah, you got to see an ending. You get to see Woody Harrelson make the final tip in to win the game as well. So
and Kofi changing teams between like at halftime.
Yes, but yeah, at halftime, yeah, somehow that's allowed. You saw Jackie Moon get fouled really hard, and suddenly that's where it comes up with the point of the alley-oop. So, yeah, it would have been fascinating to be a part of.
It would have too, not to take away from the Hoosiers game, which we were talking about. But, yeah, that would obviously, the full court press. I mean, obviously, I think that's such a crucial part of basketball, the full court press. So, I mean, Hoosiers was obviously a great one too.
What's next on your list?
Up next, I got the game.
I just thought about something with the semi-pro thing. Would have
Yep.
been a little concerning too, because there was a bear on the loose. Would have been a little bit afraid of the bear, but other than that, yeah, it would have been a great game to be a part of.
Well, it's kind of the best of both worlds because you get to be a part of like basically a basketball game and then a kind of a running of the bulls of sorts, except it's like the running of the bears and the fact that the bear kind of comes out at the end.
I know, yeah, it's a very, very intimidating bear.
It certainly is.
All right, what's that? Sorry for interrupting. But
Oh,
what's the
no,
next?
no. By all means, any more sports movies we can talk about, let's fit them all in. My next one, it's going to be the regular season finale between the Detroit Tigers and the New York Yankees in the film For Love of the Game. And in this one, you get to see Billy Chappell pitch a perfect game to kind of end his career. And I mean, it's just being from Colorado and watching most of our games at Coors Field, the odds of us ever seeing a perfect game in person, highly unlikely. This one's a very meaningful one, as obviously you get to see one of the greatest pitchers in fictional movie history in Billy Chappell go out there, spin a perfect game, spin a gem. And I mean, this one would have been a great one to be a part of as well.
Yeah, it would have been fun. I actually personally have never seen For the Love of the Game, but I have not. I will take your word for it. I agree. A perfect game is an amazing feat in baseball, and I was so close to seeing a no-hitter happen at Coors Field. But yeah, anytime I would love to see a perfect game or a no-hitter. It's definitely on the bucket list of my bucket list of sports feats to attend.
Yeah, I mean, it would be incredible to see that one for sure, the perfect game. And so obviously this is one movie where you could definitely pick that out and get that perfect game. Sorry I spoiled the ending of the movie for you, but
Oh, geez, God, you
it was a
spoiled
perfect game.
a movie that was 20 years ago. Over 20 years ago. So I
But
know I should be so mad at you.
But I mean, no, it's definitely worth a watch. I like this movie, and I mean, you also get John C. Riley's character Gus Zinski scoring like the catcher who's hitting like 219 gets the game's only run across. So
Yeah, and again, yeah, 1-0, and it was the late '90s Yankees teams, which were very dominant. So the fact that he no hit the late '90s Yankees teams, that is a feat upon itself, and especially during that the height of the steroid era.
exactly, striking out the likes of Davis Birch and Sam Tuttle, and also in that movie, I mean, you get, like I said, it's a really good movie, and like I said, you get to see it at the old Yankee Stadium instead of which is something I would have liked to have seen instead of like the new Yankee Stadium. So
I'll have to go and watch it.
what is your last one?
My last one, I'm sticking with baseball. New York against Pittsburgh in the Natural. Like this again, this was the final regular season game as well. This was obviously for the pennant, and it was a big deal for back in the day. And you got to see a really good game as well. The Pittsburgh pitcher pitching a gem really until the ninth inning. As well. And then, no offense to the New York pitcher as well. He was pitching a gem as well, except for a few runs here or there. And you got to see the ultimate walk-off and Roy Hobbs literally walking off and, hitting the lights and having all these lights go out as well. I mean, really, it was a great sight to see.
It certainly was. I mean, obviously, Roy Hobbs ending his career on that note. It's kind of the same as like the For Love of the Game thing because it's the last game of his career as well. And so to kind of see like him kind of have that walk off into the sunset moment is just amazing.
Yeah, and the fact that he was hurting, you found out that he was in the hospital going into the game, and the fact that he is playing, looking very sore as well. But yeah, he ends up hitting the home run and winning the pennant for the Knights.
Yeah, and I mean to see the lights go out obviously was just a cherry on top of it.
Yeah, the lights flicker and everything. I mean, he took out the entire lighting source as well.
Yeah.
He probably didn't like the judge probably didn't like that because he would have to pay for all the for new lighting.
Oh, I'm sure he hated it.
All right, what's last?
I lost one here, and I gotta throw it out there. This one you need probably more than a time machine. You need whatever Bill Murray used to get to the Looney Tunes spot to get to this game. But it's the game and Space Jam between the Monstars and the Toon Squad. And, I mean, obviously this game is just a complete shit show of a game. But that's what makes you want to see it, because it's a basketball game where you have people legitimately shooting out each other's teeth. You have people taking, like, just smashing each other. Like, it's the most insane basketball game you've ever seen.
It's a no holds barred. It's a no holds barred match. Yeah, it really. I mean, it was. Yeah, and you have a comeback on each side as well. You know, the Monsters get up to a big lead. Toon Squad comes back. And the Monsters make a comeback as well by really just beating the crap out of everybody. They're using players on the other team as a golf club and a golf ball. I mean, really. I mean, anything goes. Really. Yeah, I mean, we weren't feared for our lives. I mean, yeah, and you had and you had bombs on on the basket. I mean,
it's just the most insane game you could ever want to be a part of. Like, I mean, you have like everything going on. You have like the Toon Squad pulling in reserves. You have like Wayne Knight's character getting crushed, and then like you just have Bill Murray coming out of nowhere. You get to see Michael Jordan play, obviously. Like, you get just this insane thing. You have people lighting each other on fire, like bulls just charging in from out of the crowd. Yeah. It's an insane game. Why? Like, this game is just insane. How can
you have Michael Jordan literally become Stretch Armstrong for some reason. Like, his arm turns into Stretch Armstrong. And
Michael Jordan dunking from half court, like.
Yeah, and you have literally the Monsters holding him down. Like, how is that not a foul? Like, how is that not like a flagrant two? Like, they're literally grabbing him like he's tackling him.
No matter what, if we ever made a list of the worst officiated games of all time, this is the worst officiated game of all time. There's no doubt about it. Anything goes.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely worse than any of the USA Iceland games in the Mighty Ducks. Like, this is 10 times worse. Oh yeah, you have a guy jumping off the basket like he's jumping off the top rope like he's Randy Macho Man Savage and try to body slam somebody.
And he does. There's no foul.
Yeah, there's no foul or something like that. Yeah, and I agree. Yeah, they all pile on Wayne Knight as well.
Yeah.
And you have Daffy Duck.
They don't pile on Wayne Knight. And that's not a foul. It's the worst officiated game in the history of any sport. And it's just, like I said, it's a no-holds-barred basketball game where, like, you get just people beating the holy hell out of each other.
And it's the second time in that game that Wayne Knight got dogpiled on, because earlier in the game he was part of the he wasn't part of it, but yeah, he got dogpiled too because they went on him, you know, and they tackled an old lady as well. I mean, good God.
He was wide open.
I agree. Yeah, and you have Bugs using a motorcycle as well. Like, what is up with that?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, you get like every sort of illegal thing possible. Like, it's so ridiculous, but it would be just an insane game to be a part of and see.
Yes, it would have been fun. Yeah, it would have been great to be a part of. And yeah,
and
it just got
you're in like a cartoon world at that point, so who knows what the hell else you could do while you're down there.
Yes.
But this whole bonkers game would have just been insane to be a part of.
I'm just mad though. Like, I would have loved to have been part where Michael Jordan got actually forced into an actual basketball, and they were playing with him as an actual basketball. So yeah.
Yeah, once again, I mean, you get to see Jordan play against like this all-star team, and it's an insane game. That's the one I want to be at, because once again, you also get to leave reality for a while.
Exactly. Yeah, it would have been great. We would have saw an amazing game to be a part of it.
Yeah, buzzer beater, half court dunk by Michael Jordan while five guys holding him.
Oh, geez. They could have done a better officiating, than Marvin the Martian. Really, that's their problem.
Well, I mean, yeah, he was obviously partial to both the sides, so you would think he would be impartial. But like I said, I don't know that he's ever seen a game of basketball before that, because he let everything slide.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and he let Pepe Le Pew, stink up the entire team as well. So,
Right.
yeah. Oh, geez.
Every
Good.
little cheap shot in the book going on there.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
Like there's like one part where Tweety goes insane and just beats up the whole entire other team so that Elmer Fudd can like dunk over him somehow. Like,
Oh, jeez.
like I said, there's one point where they shoot out one of the Monstars' teeth, Pulp Fiction style. Like
Oh my.
it's insanity.
It is insanity. A great game to be a part of. I'm glad we ended it on this game.
Oh, it was the perfect ender. It was a great episode. Anytime we get started talking about fictional movies, I'm all for it. So it's a great time. We hope you had fun watching it as well.
Yes. Speaking of fictional movies, that's going to be our next topic is best sports scenes in a non-sports movie. So I'm really excited for this list as well. So we'll probably have a long discussion about that.
Absolutely. I can't wait. It's going to be another great week of NFL playoffs too. So we hope you'll join us again next week. If you haven't done so yet, go back and check out all of our other episodes. Give us some likes on those episodes as well. Follow us on Twitter at SP Bushy. And once again, we thank you for watching and hope you have a great night.
Thank you. Peace.
Perfect.
Thank you for listening to the SP at Bushy Show. This podcast was created by Sean Pooley and Stephen Bush. Intro was created by Zach DeMose. For more content, please visit our Twitter at SP Bushy and our YouTube page at Sean Pooley. Thank you again for listening.